Okay guys, so here we are now in part 2 of creating our newsletter. So we've gotten to this stage here where we've, I suppose, initially begun our layout using our tables. I'm now going to add in an extra section, and this is quite useful for trying to make your newsletter a little bit more interactive. So we might be doing story time, or we might have story corner. And I might want to display the story that we're doing with our parents. And it's just my idea. You could stick in your own media file if you wanted this. If there was a video from an event you were doing, or maybe Christmas carols and you wanted to put them in, it will all work. So in this case here, again, I'm going to go to maybe insert. I'm going to insert my table. I only need 2 sections for it. So I'm going to put in those 2 there. And I'm going to pull this down here. In my case here, I'm going to do maybe story time or a story corner, I'm going to call it. This week we are doing the Hungry Caterpillar. Please click on the video and watch with your child and answer any questions they have. Okay, I might just put them in mine and click on image attached. Okay, so now what I want to do before I format any of this, I might just make that a little bigger now as I usually do. I might just change that. I'll change it all actually to Comic Sans. So again, all this we can tidy up. I'll put that in. Maybe I'll leave it in black, but I'll just change it to Comic Sans. So I'll go home. Comic Sans will do fine for there. Now, in this section here is where I'm going to want to insert my media. All right, so I can actually insert a YouTube video and it'll play quite nicely on it. So if I go to insert up at the top, and we'll see here in the middle under media, it'll go online videos. And if I left click on that, it's going to ask me for my URL or my embed code. So I would go on to, I'd go online to youtube.com. I'll find my story, which I wanted to be the Hungry Caterpillar story. And that will eventually come up here. So I've got the very hungry caterpillar. And if I click on that, this is it playing. So once I'm in this, I know that this is the URL for the video. So that'll play over it. So I can wait till the end if I want, but there's no major difference. So I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to highlight that link. I'm going to press my control copy, or else you can go right click and copy. I then go back into my document, and where this enter URL or embed code for the video, I can go right click and paste, and so that's now going to put in the Hungry Caterpillar story. So that's slotted into that particular table or that square of it. It's a bit big, so like everything, I'm going to just downsize it, make it maybe the size that I want, and I now have that in there. All right. So there's my story corner, and again, like anything, I can begin formatting this. I can right click on this cell here and I can put a little bit of shading into it if I wanted to make this maybe a green color. And then a handy little thing at this stage maybe to do is to, maybe we could remove all borders in it so it doesn't look as text boxy. All right, so I might take this, I'm going to wrap text him, and I might just put him maybe in front of text again. Just going to move him to Daisy. What's going on here? Oh, it's going into the story. I don't want that. So I'm just going to move him across. And if you notice, if I click this whole table here, if I go up to the top, so beside my paint, which is our shading, I've got this kind of table, or it's what's known as my borders box. If I do the drop down arrow from that and I go to no border, it remove all the borders. So it doesn't look like it's even in a table anymore, but we know ourselves that it's in there. So again, that's maybe just making the whole thing look a little bit more professional. And so I have my story corner there, and that might just be a particular section of this newsletter I want to have. So I'm going to hit enter, give myself a little bit of space down here. I'm going to go back up to this line because I want this to come in. I'm going to left click on that line, and then I'm going to copy it, bring it down to where I want it, and I'm going to paste it. So that line's in there now. I just want to fit it into my margins a little bit better. So I'm going to pull him down. I'm going to squeeze him into about there. Should look good. Okay. I'm going to find my cursor again, which is down here. And I've now got one last section of my newsletter that I might want to input. Okay, so you can see how much room I have to play around with here. Of course, your newsletter can go into 2, 3, 4 pages, as many as you want. But in this last section here, I might do maybe another section on parents' news and something else. So I'm going to insert a table. I'm going to have it as, I'm just going to play around with this. I'm not even 100% sure what it is I want to put in. I might pull my line up here, make this one a bit bigger. What do I want in this section? I'm going to want a maybe a parents, a reminder to parents. Okay. And in this case here, I'm going to say, please note the start time for creche is 9 a.m. We cannot accept any children or any child before this time due to insurance purposes. Again, I'm making this up. I'm not sure if this is an issue for any of your creches or if it is a big one. I'm going to delete that extra word. We cannot accept any child time for purposes. In addition, collection time is at, again, 12:30. Any children that remain after this period will be locked inside for the evening. Okay, I hope you don't do that, but let's just say that's what our message is. Okay, so I've got my little note to parents in here. Again, I might want to do a little bit of shading in this section, so I could click on that, go to home. I could shade this. I would maybe not want to use green again. I could begin to use a blue for that. This section here, so I've clicked into this bottom box. Again, I might change the shading on it, and I could just change it to a darker blue. So that's my note to parents. Everything as usual. I can format it, make this bold, and I can format it, make it bigger, stick it in the center, and that's fine there. So a reminder to parents. Okay, maybe stick an exclamation mark on it. This is, again, whatever way you want to describe it. In this last section here, I might turn around and change these cells. I actually don't want the cells to be this way. I might do something about a fundraiser. So I don't want it to be a 2-row. I would sooner to be kind of 2 columns and then narrow them. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do this whole exercise of merging the 2 cells together. So that's now 1. And I'm going to resplit them the way I wanted. So I right click on it and I'll go to split cells. And in this case here, I do want it to be 2 columns in 1 row. So when I left click on that, it is now split it this way. And now I'm going to take this cell here. I'm going to push it a little bit across and I'm going to create my heading in here. And this is going to be regarding maybe we might have a breakfast morning. Breakfast morning, or breakfast fundraiser is what I'll call it. Breakfast fundraiser. And if you remember, if we right click on this and we go to text direction, we can change the cells in here. So that's gone into sideways. I might center that now. So again, I'll just show you a pie. If we go into center up here. All right. And then if I right click on the cell, table properties, and under cell, I can move it into the center. And that will position it nicely. And again, now I can make it bigger. It's got maybe a bit too big. I change the format and I'll change it to just Comic Sans. Comic Sans, I'll make them one bit smaller just to fit them all in. Bold work. Yeah, okay, so bold might work there. Can narrow them a little bit if I want. Give myself a bit more space. And I might finally change the shading in that. So I might use oh, that's just changing the color, sorry. So it's the shading, which is this one here. And I might change that to a little brown work or gold. A little bit slow for there now. Will gold work? Might work. Okay, so gold in there. And then I'll change this one here to black's not really going to work for me. Let's try this dark color here. And then I can start to insert my text and I might just change the color of it from black. So a reminder that our breakfast fundraiser will take place on Friday the 3rd of December. All donations welcome. Money this year will go to Our Lady's Hospital, Crumlin. Okay, so again, I can see that this here is not looking great. It's a little bit dark, so I can highlight all of that, and I can change the text color in this case to white, and that will make it pop out a little bit better. I'm going to make the writing in it bigger again. Separate these two out, make it stand out. And again, we can insert stuff like a picture in there if we wanted, or whatever we need. So that would look good there. So where we're at now at our newsletter is this. Okay, so it's beginning to look a decent bit better. Quite packed, quite a lot in there. But there's a few things I want to tidy up just before I finish off. So in this case here down the bottom, it's not looking too bad. I might want to get rid of those borders again because I didn't really like them. So I'm going to left click on this. You'll see here now in my smaller ribbon that this borders page has popped up, or this borders icon. So I'm going to left click on that, and I'm going to go to no border. And straight away you'll see that that's come in. Now maybe with my shading it might look better if I took some of it out, but if I might unshade this guy here, see if it'll help it stand out a little bit better. And I'm going to go with a blank one. So that's kind of distinguished them a wee bit more. And again, that's just up to you how you want to format that. Another thing I might do is my general borderline is, either I can look at it without wanting it. So I go back to my design, page border, I can put in none and see if it makes a difference to it, how it looks. We might like that. Again, I'm just playing around here with borders. I'm going to put no border into that, see what that looks like. Okay, yeah, I'm liking it with no borders on it. I think it's maybe looking a little bit more professional. I might insert my big border again, my page border. So I'm going to put in a box. Only this time I'm going to change the color of it to fit in with my theme. So it's automatically set for being black. I'm going to change it to maybe yellow. I'm going to press OK. And now you'll see I've got this yellow border after coming in, and it might tie in quite nicely. So that's essentially my newsletter. And when I want to edit any piece, I'm essentially just clicking in to my tables, and it makes it a lot easier rather than if I worry about mixing it. So if I take out a story, if I take out a piece here and insert an image, I can do that. And even within something like that, I can insert a warning symbol. I'm conscious of time, so like anything, we're going to go to File, we're going to Save As. So save a copy. In this case, I'm going to call it Newsletter November. Again, maybe change your type on it, NVMBER. I'm going to press save. Okay, got it. All right, so that's saved. And then I know I'm going to want to send this to parents. So I'm going to go File. I'm going to save a copy. And this time I want to save it as my PDF. So I go down to PDF, under Save As, and I click Save. And now this will pop up. So this is now what my newsletter will look like whenever I send it to parents. Okay, so if I can zoom back out on this. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Maybe nice and professional. And then you'll see here now, so this is our story corner. If they did want to click on this image for the Hungry Caterpillar, when they press on the Hungry Caterpillar image, it pops straight into their YouTube. They can press play, and away they go with their Hungry Caterpillar story, which they can show the kids. All right. A little issue with the recording there. Hopefully it works. I've got about a minute left. That's essentially how our newsletter would work, part 2 of it. And you can see there, it's quite nifty. It's quite easy. The removal of those borders around our tables makes it look a little less like it's tables. But again, we can shift these whatever way we want. And if you do want to move a line, always go back to clicking on the box. I can't do this because it's the PDF, but if I went back into Word, when I click on this box, if I want to go and insert my borders again to try and move something, all borders, I can then do that, and now I can shift this across accordingly, however it is I would need. So I'm going to undo that because I'd liked it the way it was. I have it saved, and you can send it out. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, just give me a shout. Thank you.